introduce yourself?
Oh, my name's Chris Fiore. I'm, yeah.
Creative writer.
Oh, yeah.
Director of the film. Yes.
Yeah, I produced it, directed it, shot it, cut it.
Yeah. So tell me, Chris, what came first? Did you want to make a documentary about the Audubon mural project, or did you meet Carlos and Johnny and their business and want to make a film about what they were working on?
I had been following the stone carver in who you meet in the first third of the film for probably like 6 or 7 years at that point, intending to make a documentary. I love to shoot. I've been an editor most of my life, and it's always just so nice to get the fuck out of the edit room and be with people, and I love being a fly on the wall. He basically kind of got sick of me following him around, and he said, look, my friend Carlos just got this commission from the Audubon Society to do this mosaic, and my mother has been a lifelong subscriber to the Audubon Society, so I'm like, I talked to him, we got along, and I started following them around.
Yeah. Well, this was the first that I've heard about the Audubon mural project, and it was just so fascinating getting to know more about what the project is about and just sharing more about birds and extinct birds. But so you started this before the pandemic,
Yes.
and then the pandemic happened. Can you talk about like the filming process, maybe the adjustments or the change that had to be made as you were continuing the film?
Yeah, because I work with people in kind of just sort of an organic way, it wasn't that big a disruption because like when they're working and I have time, I can show up and sort of be with them. So when we shot up at Kenny's, that was like one compact unit. And then when we took everything back to their studio in Brooklyn, that was like another chunk of time. And then the pandemic happened and nobody was doing anything. So it wasn't really a thing. We just couldn't shoot. But there was a lot of time when we weren't shooting anyway. And I was just kind of chopping away in the edit and just sort of like piecing things together and making the film kind of slowly. Because you can see it's 3 distinct pieces.
Yeah.
So those 3 distinct pieces were kind of made in three discrete units. And you know, then once I got the whole thing together, I would just go back and try to build some threads into that so that there was more continuity.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been an editor for 40 years, so I love piecing. I love that puzzle. That it's kind of like a life puzzle. The puzzle telling the story of people, and it's just so multifaceted and interesting. You can put it together in 1,000 different ways.
Right. And were Carlos and Johnny, were they gung-ho about the project from the beginning?
Yes.
Or? Nice. And so tell me, like, part of this, what I really loved is them talking about, you know, when they were doing the installation and talking about the community and them really, you know, kind of bringing that in. So if folks would walk by and they'll be like, what's this? They'll be like, well, put something on there. Can you talk about that energy of just the community and filming that and what that felt like?
Sure. They talked about it a lot, especially Johnny, and in the beginning, and I never really bought it. I just kind of, everybody talks about it. You know, it's like a thing now. And, but as we went on, like after the Andes, and then when we got back to Brooklyn, people started coming in. And they were invited in, and they would all work on the Swan. And it was just kind of gradually built. And then once we started the install, after being locked up in the pandemic, that's when I really felt it. That's when they were doing the install, people started coming out and participating in it, and I'd never really felt anything like that in New York before. You know, New York is, you know, all the cliches, they're cliches because they're true, and everyone's just kind of head down, sticking to their own path for the most part. And so this sort of like coming together and people sort of excited to see something happening and excited to participate in the creation of the mosaic was just, it just felt it as it was happening. And it was just such a beautiful thing. And when it was done, I felt like I had captured lightning in a bottle, you know, I had captured this moment. Then I lost everything in a hard drive crash, and it took me, yeah, I lost like 60% of the film, and I had switched from the old Mac to the new Mac, so none of my backups would reconnect. So it took me, that's why it's taken so long to get this out. It took me like a year to rebuild it pretty much from scratch. But that sense of having caught that special moment in New York and these people sort of all coming together for this kind of awakening and this moment of artistic beauty really just kind of kept me, you know, I got to get this out, I got to get this out, I got to get this done.
Was there a moment while you're filming them and watching them create this beautiful mosaic, was there a moment where, obviously you were like, okay, I don't know what they're going to create, but when seeing it come together, was there a moment where you ever thought like, holy fuck, like, this is a beautiful piece of work that y'all are creating here?
Yes, yes and no, because I, like I said, I love to be a fly on the wall, so I was really with them. Whenever they were working, I was pretty much there, and you know, you can see I love the moving camera, so, and this was like half iPhone and half Canon and like 1/8 little Sony camera, but I guess it was that there's one shot, overhead shot in the film when Avi is talking about Carlos, when you see him and he's got the whole thing spread out in front of him. I mean, that's when it really hit me. That shot, I was just like, holy fuck, look at this. It's just the color, the forms, it's really just a thing now. Whereas before it was, you know, it was the fragments, the pieces of the puzzle scattered on the board. You know, nobody really knew what was going where. And, you know, that was the first time that this sort of like magnetic thing happened and it just started shining. It was like a little art reactor that sprang to life in that one shot. And from there, it had to be when it was installed. You know, that magic of after 3-4 years of them putting it together, of finally getting it up in public, on the wall, that was like kind of breathtaking in its own way.
So before installation, it took about 4 years for them to actually
I would
make
say,
it.
yeah, probably 2 years. And then, yeah, then it sat for like another year and a half.
Yeah.
Because they had the scaffolding, then the pandemic, and then it finally went up. And yeah, that was amazing. That first day was crazy.
Yeah, is it still up today?
Oh, of course. Yeah, that thing's going to be there forever. I mean, that is real. That's like part of the building now. Johnny comes from he's got a construction background.
Okay.
So everything is by the book. Everything's up to code. It's a real mosaic. It's on the side of that building. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And what's the actual building name?
I don't know the building name, but it's 163rd and Broadway. It's on the northwest side, northwest corner. And yeah, I shot that last scene, that last, what do you call it?
The shot, yeah.
Take.
The take, yeah.
Yeah, like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And it's just still beautiful. I mean, it's like pretty timeless. It doesn't get dusty or dirty. It's just there and shiny and part of the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think great things take time. And I think that's a testament to not only the documentary of their process, but the process itself, which I think will be the reason why it's long lasting. So are there any questions for the audience? We'll go to the back first.
A couple things. One is it's an amazing film. We know each other from long ago, but I really knew little bits about it, but not the entirety of it. It was so fantastic. I just wanted to point out that I thought was really interesting that you love to piece things together. I'm gonna be kind of corny here, but you know, this story is being pieced together. They're physically putting these pieces together. So I just think that's really a testament to your spirit connecting to the art you created. And lastly is, did you have any knowledge that it would be what it is in terms of just, because you literally just said, I like following people and a fly on the wall and let's just see where it goes, because if that's really true, that's effing incredible. Like, it just goes to show the goodness in life, and you followed an intent, and it came, that came to be, and it's pretty incredible. It's just amazing. So I was just curious, like, did you have any idea like that was gonna, you know, the fruits are gonna be like that?
No, I never do. And that's the joy of documentary for me, you know?
And then, go to you, but any other question?
I'm an editor. You had said that you lost like 60% when you...
Yeah.
Yeah. When you went back to start rebuilding stuff, did you find anything, like, did you find that you were changing things that you had done? Like, yeah.
Of course, yeah. Okay, as an editor, you know, it's an iterative art. It's an iterative process, and I'm an inveterate tweaker, you know. I mean, after it was mixed, I was cutting into the mix and sort of retweaking from there. I mean, right up until I submitted it to the festivals, I was tweaking.
Yeah.
Different shots, different birds, you know.
Yes.
Bites.
Andrew, and then we'll end with the question in the back.
So I'd love to ask about some of the camera work, because to me it was like thrillingly dynamic at times, and it reminded me of like Scorsese and Spielberg, the way that you're like arcing around, but seriously, like there's blocking where you like start on one person and go to another and land on a thing, and I imagine that's incredibly difficult to do in a documentary environment where you can't plan or rehearse and you don't know what's going to happen. So I was curious how you achieved shots like that.
As an editor, I've watched more professional, masterful DPs work than you can imagine. Hours, literally, hundreds and hundreds of hours. So that in itself was like a little school. You mentioned a couple of my favorite directors. I love that kind of camera work. I was so excited to do my, I called it the gangster circle when they were working. And I really loved to be able to do that. Half that moving stuff was a lot of iPhone. And then like I said, the other stuff was like camera on sticks with a telephoto sitting pretty close to them, so I could get all that little, and you know, really play with the focus and abstraction and create kind of you know, that really dynamic sense. I mean, that to me is another great pleasure of the filmmaking process, is just being able to sort of like visualize that stuff in my mind and then go and try to shoot it. Especially as like an editor, and who gets to go out into the field once in a while, you know? Nobody ever lets an editor go out into the field. We're confined into the little box. So I think what you sort of like feel that comes through there is that exuberance, that joy of just being able to create my own footage for a change, you know?
That's very cool.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes. And then final question, Dima?
Hey, I love the film a lot. Like the other guy mentioned, good camera work, and the editing is seamless, right? It's really good editing.
Thank you.
I was watching the whole time they were like putting it up, like on the corner of a street. That my whole thought process was, it's in the middle of the street, like a skid row. Let's just say street. how do you keep something so beautiful that took so much work and thought and you know, that shines? How do you keep something like that not being vandalized?
That is, because I'm sitting up here, his name is escaping me, but the artist who had been doing that for that particular spot for over 20 years, he had the respect of the whole neighborhood, still has the respect of the whole neighborhood. And he just said, you don't have to worry. My stuff was never vandalized, this will never be vandalized. And if it is, there's gonna be hell to pay. And that got out. And to the best of my knowledge, it has never been vandalized. People really like having that there. It really does brighten up a very drab part of town. I don't want to say town, but just that little corner is just, you know, there was nothing really happening there once he left that spot and stopped putting his murals up there, you know, so.
And I think that's a testament to the power of community too.
I agree.
And being able to uphold those standards together, because it's clear, and it was represented so well in the film, that that particular spot means a lot to the community, whether it's the mural of the swans that are there now or from the previous artists. It definitely came across as if it was a meaningful just spot for that particular community. So the fact that it is, you know, just respected in that way is just beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing. So a round of applause for all the amazing films. Okay, well, we are done with this section, and then there should be a feature in here at 5:10. 5:15. Yep.
Yeah!